This factory muffler is a rock magnet. Let's get rid of it. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Clint. As you can tell by the intro, we're gonna get rid of that factory muffler. That thing is definitely a rock magnet, and it doesn't look very good from the back of the Jeep. You can see it hanging down there, and I just don't like the way it looks. I also want a little bit of sound. So, with that being said, what I opted to do was do a catback system, and the one that I got is from Flowmaster. It is a high clearance catback muffler and tailpipe. It's the Flowmaster part number 817851. Now this is for the two-door JL. They make them for the JLU as well, and you've got a couple of different options. This is the Outlaw series. It's, from what I understand, it's probably going to be the most offensive and loudest. I don't know. When you're reading reviews about stuff like this and noise levels, it's only relevant to what that person likes, right? I went with this one because I like a little bit more noise. I like to hear my engine. I don't know what it's going to sound like. We'll just have to wait and see. So here's what comes with this kit. You've got the new muffler, a couple of pieces of bent tubing, clamps, instructions and stickers. This piece right here is the tailpipe, and it's got a little tip welded in on it. Of course it says Flowmaster. You can't over badge stuff. Nice weld. It's already got the hangers on it on both pieces, so should be pretty easy to install. Getting the old one out probably going to be the biggest hassle. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is remove the old muffler. Crawl under here. On each side you're going to see these mounting brackets right here. There's a bolt right here, 13 millimeter, and then there's one on the top that goes through the other side. Taking these brackets off, because that's where your rubber hanger is mounted to, it's a whole lot easier to just take this bracket off and then pull the hanger off and transfer it to the new system, rather than trying to wrestle this and get it out of the hanger while it's attached to the Jeep. So this is the passenger side, and the same thing on the driver's side. Right here, and then there'll be a bolt on top. Once you get those off, then you can loosen this clamp right here, which is pretty much basically straight above your rear axle. Loosen this clamp up, then we can pull this muffler out. This nut on this clamp is a 15 millimeter. So your hanger bolts are a 13 millimeter. The clamp is a 15 millimeter. There's not a lot of room under here, so it's going to be real difficult for me to video this, but you get the point what I'm doing. If I run into any issues, I will definitely talk about it afterwards. Another reason I don't like this OE setup is, you see this heat shield right here? This is your little cargo hole in the back, right? That's the tub. If you guys have noticed, when you open up your back and get in your little storage bin back here, there is a lot of heat transferring from the muffler up through there. And if you've got tools or stuff back there, that's going to cause condensation. It's going to cause them to rust. Like most people, I had my little top removal kit that comes with the Jeep back there, and it's just completely covered with rust because of that. Another problem with this OE setup is, you see how this pipe is smashed? That's so much restriction of airflow that cannot be very ergonomic. So we're gonna get rid of all this crap. Now what we got to do is we got to transfer this hanger from the driver's side of the muffler to the new tailpipe. These things can be a pain in the butt. Slide that on there like that. Now the next thing we're going to do is loosen this clamp up right by your transfer case. This is what connects your catalytic converters to the pipe going to your resonator, which is right here. So we're going to loosen this clamp up. I highly recommend soaking them down with PB Blaster or some kind of penetrating oil, unless your Jeep is brand new. Mine's a couple years old, so it's got some corrosion built up on it. And once you get that clamp loose, then we can go to getting this resonator off here. And my concern is this hanger right here. You saw what a pain in the butt it was to get that rubber hanger off the muffler. And I may end up coming back here and just cutting that little tip off. That's probably what I'm going to do, just to make this process a lot easier, so I'm not having to wrestle with this because you don't have any room. You're going to have this loose so you can move this around to get the two pipes loose. So that's where I'm at. Alright, the resonator's off, and it was actually easier than the muffler. The hardest part was this clamp. The way this is oriented, that clamp is sitting on top like that, and so it was pretty difficult. I used my air ratchet. I was able to kind of maneuver it up in there and get the ratchet on it. You can get a wrench on it, but you just don't have a lot of room to get any torque on it. But the air ratchet did the trick. It wasn't real tight. And for this hanger, I was able to get my angle grinder up in there, and I just cut this tip straight off, and then it just pulled right out of that hanger. So that was pretty easy. And then once I got that clamp loose, it was just a matter of maneuvering it like I did the muffler, but it came loose a whole lot easier than the muffler did. So we'll go to putting the new stuff on. Alright, I know you guys can't see real well. Like I said, this is driveway wrenching. We don't have a lift and all that stuff. So you're going to take your clamp off the resonator, that one that was kind of a pain in the butt. You're going to take that clamp off there because you're going to reuse it. Slide it up over this ball end on your cat. Ugh. And that little tab that sticks off the side of it, you guys see this, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a pain in the butt. It puts tension on everything, and I'm almost about ready to just cut it off, but I just bent it so it slid on easily. Now, take your muffler, and slide it up there. It really doesn't say how it should be oriented, so we're just going to kind of do this loosely. Now that part's on there. I'll take one of the two clamps that comes with the kit, slide it up over that. Then take this pipe, slide it up over the end of the muffler and then stick it into that hanger. The other hanger, the other clamp. Alright, got her all buttoned up. Definitely a lot more clearance, especially right here. Not going to have all that heat transferring through to your cab area. It took me roughly 30 minutes of finagling and twisting and adjusting this pipe to get it where I was happy with it. It doesn't say it in the instructions, which the instructions are pretty good, but the one tip that I would give is get everything adjusted pretty close, and when you're happy, tighten this clamp first from your outlet to your tailpipe. Tighten that clamp first, because it's that was the one I had the most trouble with. Once you get that set the way you like it, make sure you have roughly a 1/2 inch of clearance all the way around everything. You get that and you're happy with it, tighten that one down first and then go to the front. I'm ready to see how this thing sounds. What do you think? Let's go down the road, see how it sounds inside. Alright, I mean, you can hear it, but it's not offensive. Just sitting here idling. You can hear it, but I was afraid it was going to be stupid loud and sound like a bunch of pissed off hornets, like a ricer, which I don't think it does. It's a little deeper. I'm at about 1500 RPMs and I can barely hear it. So we'll get out on the highway and get up some higher speeds and see what it sounds like. See if we have any droning. It was fairly loud at about 4,000 RPMs. But right now I'm in 8th gear, 60 miles an hour, roughly 1,700 RPMs, and you can barely hear it. Oh yeah, that's a winner.
volume wise, you know, it really, I don't think from inside the Jeep, it didn't even sound like it was getting loud till it got up around 4,000. Now in the 5,000 range, it was pretty daggum loud. But how often are we gonna see 5,000 RPMs unless you're pulling out to pass somebody or you're just showing off? Install was pretty easy. The hardest part was getting the old stuff off. The new stuff went right in like it was supposed to, and just the majority of the time spent on the new stuff was just getting it tweaked and getting it aligned just right so that I had, you know, clearance around everything, because it fits up in there pretty tight. And as you guys saw, it's going to give me a whole lot more clearance. I'm not going to have to worry about smashing the muffler on rocks, and it's already got a couple of pretty good dents in it already. So that's gone. I'm not going to have to worry about the heat transferring from the muffler up through the cab area, and should flow a lot better there with that. The way the factory pipe was kind of smashed when it comes over the axle going into the muffler, that's restrictive, and restricting the airflow is not efficient. So we'll see. I doubt very seriously it'll be any gains that will be noticeable, but if they're there, great. I'll have a link to this Flowmaster high clearance catback system in the description. That part number listed will be for the two-door JL. They do make this same kit for the JLU, and I think the Gladiator as well. Hope y'all like this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Until the next time, keep the shiny side up. Jeep on.